Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate it very much that you're having this hearing, and also appreciate my friends from Dominion being here today. I know, that, Mr. Seibold, that you're the gas guy, but do appreciate the fact that Dominion Energy has not abandoned coal, particularly Central Appalachian coal, and was there at the ribbon cutting at the cleanest coal burning plant that was opened up officially last September. And very proud of that facility. Unfortunately, of course, under new EPA regulations that have been proposed, that facility wouldn't be allowed to be constructed today. But we're awfully proud to have you all there in the 9th District of Virginia and creating jobs and bolstering our economy. Does it make you nervous, though, I would have to ask, when you think back on quotes from the President that indicate that he might not be so hot on natural gas? Of course, it seems that a lot of folks who were not for natural gas a few years ago are now for it because it seems to be the answer to a lot of problems. But I would have to think it would make you nervous, and I want to ask you that. When you remember that quote from the President in January of '08 when he said, quote, "When I was asked earlier about the issue of coal, you know, under my plan of a cap and trade system, electricity rates would necessarily skyrocket, even regardless of what I say about whether coal is good or bad, because I'm capping greenhouse gases. Coal power plants, you know, natural gas, you name it, whatever the plants were, whatever the industry was, they would have to retrofit their operations. That will cost money. They will pass that money on to the consumers." Does that statement still make you nervous?
Well, what I would say is, Dominion certainly supports all forms of energy, and coal. We have nuclear, we have coal, we have natural gas-driven power plants, we have wind generation, as well as building some solar and looking at some offshore wind as well, and have some hydro. So we certainly support all forms of energy, and we think our country needs all forms of energy.
And your company has always been diversified, and that has always been one of your market success stories, is that you haven't put all your eggs in one basket, nor should the United States of America put all of its eggs into one basket at any time. And we probably shouldn't eliminate that great black egg of coal from the basket of energy sources for the United States. Let me move on to another question, if I might. Mr. Ciccio, I would have to say to you, we've heard a lot of testimony about natural gas being cheap, but we heard testimony earlier this year that when natural gas hits that $4 mark, that coal once again becomes very, very competitive. And of course, when you're trying to have that system that is secure, you want to have a diversity. And isn't it true that natural gas is expected to hit $4 by the end of the year, and I think in March was already at $3.81, so that coal is once again very competitive if you're just looking at cost? And what we're really facing here are regulations that are hurting coal, not marketplace competitiveness.
It is critically important for industrial competitiveness, where small amounts of changes in the price of electricity makes a great deal. Coal needs to be in the mix, and $4 of gas bumps into very competitive coal prices.
And we're just about there, and probably
Yes.
will be in that neighborhood for some time.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Dr. Lesser, am I to understand that your concerns are that in other places of the world where they've relied on intermittent sources, and we heard that Germany was doing a good job of moving in that direction, but isn't it in fact the case that Germany is having some significant problems with their intermittent sources, and that it's actually affecting industry there because they can't count on the reliability? And I'm looking at an article from the Institute for Energy Research of January of this year, where they say, to illustrate the problem that renewable energy instability can cause, here is an example: electric grid weakened for just a millisecond at 3 a.m. The machines at Hydro Aluminum in Hamburg ground to a halt. Production stopped and the aluminum belts snagged, hitting machines and destroying a piece of the mill, with damages amounting to $12,300 to equipment. The voltage weakened 2 more times in the next 3 weeks, causing the company to purchase its own emergency system using batteries costing $185,000. Are those the kind of stories that cause you concern? Do you have similar stories that you've heard?
Those are certainly part of the issues that are of concern. For me, I think other issues are say, and especially in Europe, the cost of electricity is extremely high, which reduces economic growth. That's why they're cutting back on all their subsidies. So my concern is here, we're going down that same path, that we're making it much more difficult to maintain reliability. I know that ERCOT, the grid operator in Texas, is quite concerned about potential rolling blackouts this summer because of very high demand. They have so much wind. Wind tends not to blow when the power is most needed. That's just the way it is that I've discovered in my own research. So those are significant problems, yes.
And that can affect jobs, can it not?
Absolutely.
Gentleman's time has expired.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
This time